So Lauren Boebert has issued an apology since she got kicked out of the theater in Denver for being loud and obnoxious and vaping, and now we learn she was even groping her boyfriend during the event. And in her apology, she blamed her divorce for her behavior. Now, before we go any further, I do not want to shame or demonize anyone or pass any judgment on anyone who's ever been through a divorce. I've been through 2 of them. They suck. No matter how bad you may want a divorce, when it happens to you, it's one of the most brutal and ruthless things that could happen to you. And I understand that in those situations, we all may say things we normally wouldn't say, and we all may behave in ways we normally wouldn't behave. So I'm not here to pass any judgment on Lauren Boebert for going through her divorce. I'm also the last guy that should ever get on any moral high ground and tell Lauren Boebert how she should live her life. Because for about 7 years of my life, I went out there and drank enough alcohol to float a battleship. And I lived as close to the edge as a human being possibly could. I've been writing songs for over 25 years, and I've always been very open and honest in my songs about the life I lived. For example, I have a song called Call Me Brando that pretty much tells the whole story. And in there, I talk about, there's a line where I say, I almost circled the drain when I drank my cocaine that one night in Pigeon Forge. I wrote that line because I lived that. I wouldn't recommend it. Do not try that at home, okay? But I'm just saying, that's the kind of life I live. So I'm the last guy that should ever get on any kind of moral high ground and talk down to Lauren Boebert or tell her this is how God wants you to live. The problem I have is with the next half of her apology, where she says, I fell short of my Christian values, and for that, I'm deeply sorry. I don't believe, in my opinion, that she ever had any Christian values to begin with. I think Christian values, family values, was all a stage prop for Lauren Boebert. I believe she realized, I don't think Lauren Boebert is a stupid person. A lot of the politicians on that side of the aisle, I don't think they're stupid. Ted Cruz is not stupid. He understands his audience. He knows the audience he can talk to, and he knows the audience he can grift. And so does Lauren Boebert. I've always felt like that she was playing the part, that she was playing the gimmick. I don't believe that she believes half the shit she's saying. I believe that it's something she knows there's an audience out there for her, and she knows she can grift, and she knows she can make a name for herself in that field. There's a whole lot of people on that side of the aisle that I wouldn't consider stupid. Even though they say and do stupid things, I feel like they're saying and doing those stupid things in character or in gimmick or whatever the fuck you want to call it. It doesn't make it right. And in some ways, it makes it even worse that they're cashing in on that. But take Kid Rock, for example. Kid Rock's a smart businessman. He's a talented musician, and he's a smart businessman. I don't think he's nowhere near as stupid as some of the lyrics he sings. Like that song, We the People, he phoned that thing in, man. He was phoning that one in. That was a guy that was like, hey, there's an audience out there for this song. Let's go ahead and put this out there. And I feel like that's what Lauren Boebert is. I believe she realizes there's an audience for what she does. I don't think she ever fell short of her Christian values. I think what she's doing now is damage control. And she's trying to fix the situation by making that kind of apology, because she tried to lie her way out of it. She tried to say, oh, no, I wasn't vaping. I wasn't doing those things, and not realizing that she was on camera the entire time. Now, I will say that at least she said, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I wasn't vaping. Donald Trump would have been like, oh, that wasn't vape coming out of my mouth. It was cold in there. I mean, he would have found a way to spun it and got out of that. So I'll give her credit for at least going, oh, okay, so I really was vaping, my bad. But at the end of the day, I don't find it to be a sincere, heartfelt apology. I just find it to be damage control. And I feel like that the entire thing, this entire time, has been a gimmick and a stage prop. Because Lauren Boebert's family has been in the news all the time for their behavior. You know, her husband exposed himself to a girl at a bowling alley. They've had the law called on him multiple times. Lauren Boebert's been in the news a whole lot. And I think what we saw wasn't her falling short of her Christian values. In my opinion, it was her true self. Because I go back to the video where she threw the picture of the kid that lost his life. When she threw that picture of that kid in the trash, that was the moment where I realized what kind of person she truly was. You know, that's her true nature right there, to throw that away like that. And the fact that she's dating a Democrat, it just even adds more hypocrisy to the whole thing. The guy she was with and the guy she was groping was a Democrat who owns a bar. And I've heard rumors that the guy went out to drag shows and attended those. And yet every time she gets up on a platform, she demonizes us. And she says that we're the socialists, the communists, the Marxists, the Satanists, the pedophiles, the groomers, and yet she's sitting there groping one. Hypocrisy is my problem. I don't have a problem with people being whoever the hell they want to be. I remember one time Larry Flint, who published Hustler magazine, I remember one time seeing an interview with him where he said, "My name is Larry Flint, and I am the publisher of the most tasteless, filthiest magazine in America." And I was like, okay, well, at least we know where he stands. At least he owns it. But the ones that comes down beating other people with their religion and using that religion as a stage prop is what I find offensive. And I don't think at the end of the day, this apology is heartfelt. It's damage control. And she's trying to reel this in because an election's coming up and she barely won the last time. So personally, I think in any other time in American history, had this happened 20 or 30 years ago, she would be resigning today. She would be stepping down. But she will try to continue to ride the train because at the end of the day, the people on her side of the aisle, they don't care that she's a hypocrite. It doesn't bother them. As long as she shouts down the people that they hate, they couldn't give two shits what she does. And I don't give two shits what she does. But be true to yourself and be who you are. And if that's the kind of person you are, just own it. Just own who you are. Just admit to it. Don't grift people. Don't ride on that and grift people. That's the problem that I've always had and always will have. So, I'm sure that she will keep us entertained in the news. I'm sure this ain't the last time that Lauren Boebert will make the news. And it won't be the last time that we're sitting here talking about her because I believe what we saw was Lauren Boebert.